Oh,
السلام
that's
عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the Masjid Car Park podcast, episode 30.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
What happens in Makkah stays in Makkah. We were having a conversation.
No,
won't
we
say
can't
what it's
talk about that.
No, but we're not saying what it's
that's-
about. But
Yeah.
Malana drops the line, what happens in Makkah stays in Makkah. What I want to do is, I want to know what his hajjs were like. That's what I
No,
want to know.
we can't. No,
No, we're not.
Let's
I'm not
leave
going
that.
there.
Let's leave that. Let's continue. Alhamdulillah.
I've actually got tears from that
How's
line.
everybody? How's everybody going?
Alhamdulillah. I'm
Alhamdulillah.
excited. Half an hour ago, I went to the shop. 45 minutes ago, I went to the shop. I've got a bit of show and tell. You know who's going to appreciate this one? Brother Akram. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, these are like the coolest biscuits out. Absolutely amazing.
Hide and
Is it
seek.
like what?
Hide and
Chocolate-
seek,
chocolate coated?
mashallah. They're oh yeah, you know it's not healthy. Like it's an
Yeah.
Indian like treat. So it's probably like 99.9% sugar.
What is it?
It's basically Indian chocolate chip biscuits.
Hold it up again.
Would you like me to get one out and show you? Hang on a second.
No, just show me the picture.
You must have seen these.
What is it? Like chocolate
It's just a
biscuit?
chocolate biscuit. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The wrapping looks more expensive than.
Yeah, definitely. Here's one I made earlier.
Oh, it's like a choc chip sort of thing.
Yeah. But they're just so.
They
addictive,
couldn't
like, you just-
they couldn't get the chip like all together, so it sort of blends. It's an Indian chocolate chip. It's melted through the whole thing. I don't know.
basically-
It looks like very
Right.
cloudy.
That's what I was saying.
No
Like,
offense.
I had never even heard of these, right? And usually the normal biscuits, whatever, when you go overseas. But then one day in Melbourne, brother Akram's house, he's like, "Oh, look what I've got! I'm hide and seek." I'm like, "What's that?" He goes, "What? What sort of Indian Union?" And then he pulled them out. Ever since that day, mashallah.
Nice.
So,
All right.
so an
what
Aussie
about
introduced you to it, huh?
I know that's the most ironic thing about it. It's hilarious.
Is
But,
that Noon in the background?
Yeah.
mashallah?
He's
How's he going?
no, he's all right. He was asleep before, but
Huh.
he woke up because I had to turn off his what's it called? White noise sound that he sleeps with because he can't sleep.
Okay,
without
you need
it.
to explain.
Would
You
you
need to
play-
explain that.
What'd you play it off?
The iPad. So with white noise, it's like I'm sure everyone knows, but basically it's just,
Yeah.
it's just sound that you have in the background that makes it more relaxing, more or less, I guess.
Yeah,
for the
like
person that's
they have.
listening.
It's like it could be a rumble. It could be just a.
Do you want me to send a
Yeah.
recording of me doing the Sheeds ladder?
Jazakallah khair. Yes.
That's a
Sure.
polite no. Yeah.
How do you-
soothing
Bro, how
soothing
do
lullabies by Abdul Wajid.
What happens in Makkah?
In Hindi, you know that the lady with the high pitched noise.
Oh, bro. I was actually, that's what I said to Lara once. I said, every time I see Noon, I'm only going to speak to him in Urdu or Hindi. And Lara can only speak to Yusuf in Oromo, right? If he knows it. And that's it.
That's good. That's interesting.
Yeah, that would be interesting. Imagine that actually does turn out to work out.
No, they can learn
And, like,
7 languages before the age of 7.
Yusuf knows Oromo and Noon knows.
But you'll have to
yeah,
spend a lot of
so-
time with each other.
Yeah,
You know?
Yeah.
bro, that would be the funniest thing.
Yeah.
Imagine
Yeah.
Yusuf at like some African party, all these Oromos around, and he just starts speaking.
Yeah.
or Noon he just starts in
Yeah.
Urdu. Actually, that happened to me once in Hyderabad, because there's a lot of African refugees in Hyderabad,
Mm.
right? There's a lot, and so I'm used to brothers from Australia, right, speaking in English. So
Yeah.
I remember going to pray Salat. It was near my uncle's house, and I'm sitting next to this brother, and automatically in my mind, it's just this guy's got an Aussie accent, and he's just about.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
start speaking to him in English, and then he just comes to me in fluent Urdu. My brain
Yeah.
just went.
What's going
what
on?
just
huh?
happened? What just
Yeah.
happened? That's probably what.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what? People say that sometimes when they look at Maulana Khalid because they expect him to
That-
talk, very straight,
That would be
fresh and
surreal
bold.
though. Because if you started
Actually,
talking to
I
me,
don't
about
look
what-
for-
that
I look
that would be
pretty-
something completely
What are you talking about?
Bro, you look like you're one of those refugees just got off the plane.
Oh, get out of here.
No, it doesn't.
I'm
It looks-
joking.
Come on. Get out of here. I'm not going to say nothing.
Bro, you got me in the silly mood before this podcast started. So all I'm saying, the disclaimer is anything that happens is on your head.
No, you should say. Actually, no, I'm not going to say that anymore. I feel like
No.
it's not a good thing to say.
What happens in the podcast stays in the podcast. Let's keep
Yeah,
it
that's-
secret so
that's
no
better.
one finds out.
So we had just last time I mentioned that I had the second jab, alhamdulillah. I had the fever for a day. I recovered, alhamdulillah, all good, mashallah. And then like a day later, I got a pain in my foot and I couldn't mention to anybody because people are going to connect it to the vaccine.
It was
So
from the
then
jab,
I-
yeah?
And it's got nothing to do with the jab. It's absolutely, I thought I hit my foot somewhere and my foot started to get like inflamed and it swell up. And like, so then like I thought it was a bruise or something, but then it's
Blood
like
clot in the
3-4
foot.
days. Yeah, no. I
All right, I'm gonna stop.
thought did
Okay,
cross my mind, but then when I went to the doctor, he explained, no, I've got gout, and I've never had gout before, so I didn't know what it was. So that's not the worst part. The worst part is
What is
I couldn't,
gout?
like gout is like purine. I think it's called purine. It's uric acid
Purine?
increase in your body. I think it's called purine, if I remember correctly. Basically, it's a. I know it doesn't sound nice, but basically, it's uric acid increasing your body or
Okay,
something.
I don't know if I can be serious right now during this.
Anyway, I was in a lot of pain. I'm telling you, I was in a lot of pain. So this what it causes inflammation, uric acid, and the reason why is because of my keto diet. Because I was having so much meat. When you have a lot of meat, great people like Alexander the Great and great generals have had this. Right? Just so
Well,
you
they
know.
when you run in their foot.
They had gout, and it's people say that it's a sign of gluttony and but it's not true. Apparently that's a false but anyway,
You
I-
have to
I-
appreciate. Wait,
that's not the
before you go
worst-
any
that-
further-
that's not the
wait,
worst
Before
part.
you go any further, you have to appreciate how good I'm being right now. How many openings has he given me tonight?
but that's not the actual that's not the mosque, our masjid, the Ummah Center in Doncaster. Mashallah and barak alim. Some brothers, I think the youth committee, they organized a 450-kilometer walk thing that people have to do.
Mashallah.
Mashallah.
We can only go 5Ks, bro.
Which is different. I couldn't walk in the house. I'm limping around the house. I'm lying in the bed. I can't move. If I stand up, it hurts my foot. They want me to do a 10-second video to encourage. It's basically the distance between Makkah and Medina, Munawwara. So it's called the Hijrah, like they're doing a walk thing, and as a community, right? So they have
You can't go more than 5 kilometers from your house.
the Strava. No, let's not get into the details of it. So it's the Strava app where
So they can
everybody
walk
registers. Everyone registers on
They
it.
could
It's
just
really
keep going
good.
in circles.
It's a really
rightio.
good, yeah, but it's
Okay.
divided over 28 days. It's not like in one day. So they so it's basically through the app. The whole community is like more than 70 people registered, and everyone's
Mashallah.
progress is tracked there. And mashallah, some people are like flying. They're doing like in 2 days they covered like 40-50 kilometers. So but the thing is, they wanted me to do it while I can't walk, I can't stand. They want me to do a 10-second motivational video. I said, listen, brother, I can't even stand, let alone walk, and you want me to encourage the community. I feel a bit hypocritical, but as soon as I get better, I bought some new sneakers. As soon as I get better, I bought this special support New Balance, mashallah, nice shoes, and they will, inshallah, they have motivated me. As soon as I get able to walk or jog, then I'll be joining, inshallah, bismillah.
If I was the committee, I'd be like, yes, as soon as we do this walking, Maulana's conveniently hurt his foot.
Yeah,
and then he's like, as soon as I get better, I'll join in.
Yeah. If it doesn't happen before the 28 days, they're like day 4 or 5 into it. So
Yeah.
hopefully, you might see Maulana just join in, Imam join in, and then just like, overtake everybody. You don't know. Could just knock out like 50 kilometers in a day, So Yeah, doesn't sound believable, you know. Sit in my car. I'll just drive my car.
No, please, Maulana, give other people a chance.
Yeah,
Don't steal all the kilometers for yourself with your urine filled
yeah,
foot.
yeah. So I've done like
Yeah,
the most walking I've probably done is I did alhamdulillah tawfiq of Allah only that I did two hajjs, walking hajjs
mashallah.
with a few brothers, and that's like 80 kilometers within 5-6 days. So
Oh,
that
that's all
was
right.
probably yeah, that's decent. Like, but over there, the buzz, the environment, everyone's in Amal, people,
Walking,
you know, all the effort is people doing. Yeah, they're walking everywhere. The
mashallah.
whole hajj is walking, and anyway, I mean, a lot of it is walking. But even between all the big distances, like the Arafah was like 40-kilometer walks, 10-kilometer, 20-kilometer walks, those ones, all of alhamdulillah, that was probably the most I walked like in a single sort of like in a concentrated like 5-6 days. And was good, mashallah. Like that was in like in but it's the environment and it's Makkah Mukarramah and you know
Right,
and
everywhere you walk, you know, you think maybe Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam walked here, which Sahabas walked
Yeah,
along these
subhanallah.
streets, not that that specific land.
and
or
the
whatever,
reason
but-
for doing the walking hajj is for every step it's 1 million rewards, you know.
Subhanallah.
So yeah, Allah accept, inshallah. You know, but that's it's just encouraged to mention that. But
Mashallah.
that was. But the thing is that when we went the first time I did it, we didn't know at that time there was how much was it? 1.5 million illegal hajis or something, some ridiculous amount. So we ended up in
Illegal
their
hajj?
area. Yeah, illegal, like they're like
Is there such a thing?
yeah, like they're
Because they
not
haven't got the
registered.
pass.
So they're like basically what do you call it? Expats, workers.
Yeah.
So they're like from Pakistan, from Egypt. So they're in the kingdom. It's a public holiday. What are you going to do?
Oh, right.
And Hajj said 5 days. You got 2-week holiday. So you just turn up in your car outside of Mecca. You go over a hill. The thing is that we took a wrong turn. Instead of going in Muzdalifah to our place, we ended up with all these guys. I got punched. I think I mentioned this maybe before. And
You got
No, you
because
just
I've almost-
mentioned this.
because it was so imagine for 2 kilometers you're walking like this,
Oh.
just like a little steps. 2 kilometers, like that 2 kilometers took 2 hours.
But that's what I was just said. You look like you're fresh off the boat, so you would have mixed in perfectly with them.
Yeah, and then we ended up in a place. I remember one guy from Sydney. What did he say? He said he was at that time he had the iPod. I think if I remember correctly, he was filming with it, and he's filming, and I just remember him standing there. He was in our little group, young guys, and he goes, "This is hell on earth." It was really hard. It was that like because we had to stand the whole night, and people are collapsing. There's one guy came. I think it was Iraqi. He came out of nowhere. He's so tired. He's just going. He's tapping people. Give me some room to sit. There's no room to sit. Right? It was jam packed, and he just sit and then he just collapses, like just lies down in front of, just leans and falls down and starts snoring straight away. He's just exhausted.
Snoring.
You know? It was an unbelievable. He's just tired. You can see the exhaustion on him. That spot there in Hajj was so such a memorable. It is the most memorable moment. Like I went 7-8 Hajjas with a group. That one was probably the most memorable moment where, like, we're sitting in that spot. Yeah, where so many things happened there. There was a Sudanese brother. I remember he was sitting there. He's just sitting. He's got a little like concrete thing. Just sits on it the whole night. People are hitting him with bags because it's a thoroughfare and so forth. And not one word out of him. Not one argument back. Not one like just full composure. One guy hits both of us. And I'll get Haji, you know, the usual thing. Haji, what are you doing? And I'll look at him, try to get a reaction out of him, and just looks at me like total, like, you know, like, nah, I'm not going to wreck my Hajj because of that guy. And like total self-control. Then there was the Nigerian or West African lady, auntie, she came, and we were like 3-4 guys were sitting there. And I told the brothers, like, make room for her. She wants to pray Aisha because it was late at night time. And the Haji, the lady, she had like a shopping bag, like a plastic bag. That's all she had. And she started praying, and then it was such a hilarious. Anyway, she's in a tahiyyat. We're like exhausted. We just prayed before that, just got over and done with Maghrib and Isha because you prayed together in Muzdalifah. And she started and she prayed this long salat. And in tahiyyat, we're just looking at her because we can't move anywhere. We're looking facing this old lady. We're just facing her. And she just there. She's in a tahiyyat and she's crying.
Allah.
And she's like totally oblivious to everything. And we're just looking at her. And one of the guys who I thought was going to have a nervous breakdown was with us. Because his lips started shaking and I started getting worried. Like this he's about to have a breakdown. It's Aussies, you know. And he told me because maybe Allah placed us here to see this. So then I asked her, I said, Hajj, make dua for us. So she raised a hand. She made a long dua in Arabic, and we just like this, like half dead, you know. Ameen, 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 you know? And then she said, "Do you speak English?" She said yes, and she started making dua in English, and we say Ameen. We just sort of like wrecked, you know. And when she was praying, there's a group of Syrians or Iraqis, I don't know what, they're Arabs anyway, maybe Algerians if I remember correctly, but they I just offended all those Arab countries. A man reached out because he was getting annoyed.
You're used to offending people, so it's all right.
Well, no, but one of them reached out to told her that because that little space was a lot of real estate, it was a prime real estate. So she was taking too much space and it was squashing them a little bit. But it's our spot that we gave to her, but they wanted her to move, but she's praying. And we told her, just leave her, let her pray. One of the guys, the men reached, and he shouldn't have done this. He touched her on the shoulder and everything worked out. She went like this. If you can see, she went like this, just elbow without, like, you know, just to move him away. But it hit the guy and he went flying backwards in the crowd. His ihram opened. Yeah, it wasn't pretty. So it was just, and then when we got exhausted, these three we stood there for hours, and then these Bangladeshi guys, they saw us from they saw us and they said to us, if you come, you guys sit and sleep. So then they just stood up. You know, they gave their spot and they just smiled at us. I remember they smiled and they were happy and they said, you guys sit. You guys, like, these poor Westerners, look at them, you know. they can't be making the same sacrifice as third world Muslims. You know?
They'll be going back to their comfortable hotel room with showers and changing clothes and everything else.
Yeah, they felt sorry for us and they let us have their spot, and so we lied down and slept in the dirt and alhamdulillah. So it's walking Hajj. Just make sure you go with somebody.
I like how we went from I've got gout, I can't take part in that, to walking Hajj. Oh, mashallah, the Sheikh made a lot of sacrifice. He doesn't need to do this walk. He doesn't need to do this walk.
I'm just motivating. Inshallah, we get to do Hajj Umrah again, and we get to get to the Haram again, inshallah. And we hopefully get to return back to those holy places and benefit from them. But if you get a chance to do a walking Hajj and you're able to, you're fit, take the chance. We had to figure it out ourselves. We didn't have any other countries have organized groups that do it year in, year out. I think some brothers from Sydney, like they it's like a set thing. They do a walking Hajj every year. You know, it was actually it was nice. You had all these experiences along the way, and it was. I remember there was some brothers from Sydney, and they were just the way they were like really fit. They were like, looked like gym junkies. They were jogging in their ihram, like they were like. I saw them sprinting past. You know, they were like, you know. And there's one brother I remember.
You're walking comfortably and doing dhikr, right?
And one of the brothers from, I think it was from Sydney. I think it was Lebanese brother, bodybuilder, and he was like, the top of the ihram he wasn't wearing. You know, he was just walking around. He didn't need the top half. He was just flexing his muscles the whole time. But mashallah, you know, yeah. But mashallah, like it was. But you know, one of the funny things is those.
What about yourself?
What's
Did
that?
you wear the complete haram? Or
I wear it in a very strategic way, you know, to hide my abs.
Same. That's right. We don't want to cause fitna in Hajj.
Yeah. Be like, yeah.
He doesn't know where to go.
You know what the funny thing was? Like one of the strange things in the hotels, the Fairmont and all those hotels where Aussies usually stay, they have like a gym with treadmill. That I don't get. It's
A-
like
a gym
go
with treadmill?
outside,
go to the
Yeah,
treadmill,
that's true.
bikes, like literally walk across the road and get rewarded for walking. But you
Yeah.
just kind of can't stand on the spot and just it doesn't even make. I don't know what they were thinking, but anyway, they have a
People use
sauna, steam room, like all the, you know.
Again, sauna. Literally walk across the road.
Yeah, exactly. Just go into the right in the thick. Go near Hajj Aswad, man. You're gonna get like
Yeah,
a.
that's it. Oh,
Anyway,
well, that's
so
some
that's
good
a
experiences.
that's excellent activity. They're doing like a community walk around the distance of Hijrah. It's not a dini thing, but it's a good thing to reflect upon,
It's excellent.
and it gets a community together. And I think it's brilliant, mashallah, the way
Right,
they.
it's a sensational idea, especially in times like this where everyone's so isolated. Even though every individual is doing their own thing and staying within their 5 or 10 kilometer limit while they're doing their walks, like how I put that one in, right? But what's happening at the same time is it is creating a community, a unity.
Yeah, exactly. Like we could have done more, but it's still a mashallah good initiative, and people are trying to figure out like how to connect.
Is that,
It's
is that only for people in Doncaster?
I think I don't know if there's a restriction, but it's sort of like a mosque thing, and a mosque is usually a local community thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's probably more targeted towards.
I was going to join and help out with a couple of 100 Ks, but now that you've said that, I'll have to. I'll let you guys
Well,
do
you
it.
do a lot of. I know that you can walk long distances.
Right,
What's the
but
longest
yeah,
you walked?
Oh, probably about 30, 35 Ks.
Yeah.
There was one time I remember when I was coming back from New Zealand visiting the missus. This was before lockdown. I got off at the airport and there was no one to pick me up. Like I hadn't called the family, and I just had my backpack with me, so I was like, I might just walk, and when I get tired, I'll call an Uber. Bro, I made it home.
Me and
Through
you
the
walked
most
around the whole island
random-
once.
Oh yeah, that's right.
You remember?
Through the most
Yeah.
random back streets. Yeah, I walked home. That was
Mashallah,
about 20 Ks, so that was all right.
mashallah.
But I
Like-
enjoy walking.
Yeah, Allah give us tawfiq to enjoy walk. You know,
Ameen.
in books, it's mentioned. Like I was reading one book, Prophetic Medicine, and I think I mentioned this last time as well. It talks about for health reasons, you should follow the janaza. You should visit the sick in the locality. I was thinking, what's this got to do with health? Is it some barakah level of like you're getting barakah? Obviously, getting barakah because it's a good deed. But then I realized, like in the old days, you'll have to walk everywhere. If you want to go visit a sick person in the next neighborhood or village, you'll have to trek. It's not
Yeah,
like you get in the
I'm
car.
not walking to Melbourne
Or
because of the gout.
following a
To
janaza, following a janaza, you would have to
Yeah.
go to the janaza prayer. Then you have to walk out of the town to the cemetery, which is most likely outside of town.
Yeah.
So everything there, the whole life they just walked, and they were fit just by the life that they lived. And we as a hadith mentions about this, one of the signs of Qiyamah is people will come to the masjids on couches.
On
Really?
couches.
Yeah. Cushions or couches, yeah.
Subhanallah.
Wow.
And that's exactly,
subhanallah.
yeah. Yeah, it's
That just-
amazing.
that just hit me now. Like as soon as you said
Yeah.
couches, I was like, oh
Yeah,
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 in the
yeah.
car.
Yeah, some of us leather ones, some of them have as upholstery couches,
Subhanallah.
Yeah. Some of us have heated ones as well.
Some have massages.
Is there
Yeah, man,
in cars?
brother.
Yeah.
I'll
Really?
tell you about. I'll tell you.
Yeah,
I'll tell you
I know
who to call after
I
this.
know who you're talking about.
I'll tell you who to call after this and go for a drive.
Yeah. All right. Massage.
Massage.
Wow.
Massage. And the back seat reclines. Like
Oh, the
it's-
back seat.
That's just
No, the
too
back
much.
seat reclines as well. The front one's massage, heated, everything.
That's
Oh,
too-
wow.
too-
Mashallah.
is that too much luxury?
Yeah, 100%, man. Yeah, that's 100%.
Are
That's
you
like
saying that because you don't have luxury?
huh?
I don't
Look-
want this fitna.
My mum
Probably.
tells me about when there was no rain in a village, crops, and then they would go out in the field with her father and all the children. Everything will pray Salatul Istisqa for rain, not because it's the water levels down in Dan Andrews announced, and the water levels down in the dams, and the mosque. You know how we've done it in Melbourne.
Yeah.
We come for Salat
I've seen
al-Istisqa.
the bus loads.
This was a matter of survival.
Yeah.
Like, because and one of the brothers, I think Bangladeshi brothers, who explained to me, they had a season called the hungry season. Like when your last year's crop stock finishes, the new crop hasn't been hasn't grown yet, hasn't arrived. There's a gap in the middle where they're just hungry. They're just like surviving. They have to like ration out whatever they got left until the new crop they can harvest it. That was like a normal part of most most Muslims, and maybe is in many parts of the world still as well. That's how they live. So we've got so if you want to tell me I got luxury, like I ordered like these ready-made meals like for myself, they arrived today. It arrives in a refrigerated box from Sydney.
Yeah. But does it
Right?
is it a meat meal?
Yeah, it's a keto meal, halal meal.
So
Like,
this
I'll give him
medieval
instructions.
disease of gout is going to continue.
Yeah, probably. But I got the tablets to counteract it. No, inshallah not. Inshallah
First
not.
world,
Inshallah not.
inshallah not. First world problems.
Yeah, but it's like there's a refrigerator box in front of my house in my doorstep from Sydney. They sent it yesterday. It's got like ice inside of it. It's like a foam thing, right? With the meals for a whole week. I mean,
And how long?
You wanna-
How big is the box?
it's like that. It's got like
Do you have to give it
norm-
back?
No, nothing. And the ice packets, they tell you can use it in your fridge, keep in your fridge like as ice packs, or you can dispose of it down your sink, the gel in it.
Nah, keep it as ice packs because then when everything opens
Yeah,
up,
there's
you
like
have a
I've
barbie.
already got some from last time. How many ice packs?
Yeah, nah,
do
keep
I
it, man.
need?
I'll take them off your hands. If we have a Barbie, chuck the drinks in those boxes. Take it to the park.
Yeah, I guess so. You can
That
use
won't
it
be
as
as bulky. That won't be as bulky as an esky, and be easy. Just
Yeah.
for the day.
yeah. So these are the problems, first world problems. But anyway,
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I've got nowhere to store my ice for my drinks in
Yeah.
summer.
yeah. So alhamdulillah. So if you want to say
Alhamdulillah.
relatively in history,
We've had it. We've got it good.
we are probably in the most gluttonous, luxurious life that probably 95% of the world doesn't know how good.
Yeah.
Like
The
we are.
average man right now lives probably equivalent to a king, 500 years ago, 700 years ago. Apart from,
Yeah.
millions of people. Well, actually, you do because you've got your dishwasher. That's like a slave.
That's like
You've got your fridge. You've got your washing machines. You've got your car. So
Right.
it's just
You turn your tap on and the water comes
calm.
out. You don't even
Yeah.
have to go collect water. Turn the other tap on, hot water comes out. You don't have to heat up water. So that whole process of collecting water, collecting firewood, putting the water in a pot, starting the fire, heating up that water, then mixing it with cold water because you want to use it to have a shower is gone. Now it's just a turn of a tap.
showering every day. That's like
Yeah.
Yeah.
unheard of.
So twice a
Bible
day.
user. Yeah, some
The
people
idea of a
twice day.
shower, the idea of using a tap, like in
Yeah.
Australia, I went to there was a house, one of those old houses, like in Australian houses, like a heritage house, but they preserved the inside of it from like I think it's like 80 years ago, 100. It's not very long time. Where Australians like before plumbing, like we had a plumbing system,
Mm.
right? The actually in Melbourne, the Yarra was like a sewage,
Yeah.
apparently. In the river that's in London, what's it called?
Thames.
Yeah, the Thames. They call it Thames. The Thames. That river. You heard about the big stink?
No.
Apparently, it was like something happened. The winds didn't come, and it like clogged, and then it like it froze, and then it didn't. I can't remember what it was, but the smell just went over the parliament, and like for like apparently months on end or something like that. They call it the big stink or something like that. So and in Australia before they had like sewage system, like I think it's like World War II we're talking about, not long time ago. They like the toilet was outside the house.
Yeah, that's why it's
like,
called
and
the
it was in a
outbox.
bucket.
They what?
Exactly, like it was.
The outbox.
It wasn't in.
Oh,
There was no plumbing, so it's like a bucket
Mm.
outside. You go in a bucket, you put dirt on top of it when you finish.
Mm.
All right, and there was like
Lovely.
a job. A guy used to come around, collect it all, and empty it out for you. Yeah, this is like not long
Bro,
ago.
this
Literally,
is serious. Yeah, man.
Yeah,
How
I
much
know.
sugar do we have to make, man?
Alhamdulillah. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like we live in extreme extreme luxury, and
But once-
because of
but-
that we've got weird anti-vaxxers. And I want to make a segue connection.
That's so true.
So this week we had a earthquake in Melbourne. I don't know what you call it, earthquake, tremor.
It was an earthquake.
And today
an
I
earthquake.
It was
heard,
actually an earthquake.
today
It
I-
was like
and people were saying this is HARP. You know, have you heard of HARP?
HARP, yeah.
Maybe
It's a high
explain it for those
frequency-
people that haven't.
What's it called?
So it's
It's like high frequency aurora
Resonance.
borealis.
Yeah, it's a conspiracy that they're sending waves out. So, and this is causing earthquakes around the world. My question
Yeah.
is,
It's called high frequency
what about the
active aurora
earthquakes
research
that-
program.
yeah. So so the earthquakes mentioned in the Quran, are they caused by HARP? You know, so
No,
earthquakes.
but a
exist-
Muslim saying this?
Yes.
No.
Yes. What I'm saying, like, I mean, so it's so silly,
I don't know what
like
to
the
say,
idea that you attribute everything, like, it's
The
for some
inside.
Muslims, na'uzubillah, like almost the way they say things, like they forget that Allah is doing everything.
Mm.
Even something happens, a natural phenomena happens. Nah, it's not real. It's like it's caused by American government. They've set up these things, antennas, and they're causing like seismic activity, you know. But anyway,
It's
where
going to be
would-
attributed to 5G.
yeah, or something else. Like we can't say Allah brought the sickness or Allah brought shifa. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who gives health and sickness. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who does
And that
everything.
is
You
what
can't
we should be saying.
Yeah.
Instead, the government did an earthquake. You know, come on, like take it take
How
it
was
easy.
your
You know?
How was your experience with the earthquake?
I was in bed. The window started shaking.
Did it
I
wake you
thought it
up?
was yeah, it woke me up, and I thought it was a bird at the window, like
Tapping
tapping
you.
the window. You know, some of those birds do that.
Yeah.
And I'm
Wake up,
thinking,
wake
like,
up! I have a message.
Then the
from
bed's
Creator.
moving, and I'm saying, no, this ain't a bird. And then my son, his windows thing, he comes, it's an earthquake. He knew like it was the house was shaking. We're in the west of Melbourne, but the east, like my brother's mom and so forth, they're in the eastern suburbs.
Mm.
They were closer to the epicenter. So I think they said it's 10 kilometers deep in, what is it?
Mansfield.
What's that place? Mansfield.
Mansfield.
Yeah. So out, but it was only 6.6.
Yeah, I was upstairs, and the girls came running in, and then the boys slept through it. The boys are spewing that they missed it.
Oh,
He's like, "Oh, I missed it," and then like my oldest comes and goes, "At 1:30, there's going to be an aftershock." I go, don't be excited about that. This is not something you want to happen.
yeah. Lara, where were you when it happened?
I was in the kitchen making a coffee, and then
And?
I could feel the ground shake, like kind of like moving, but my brain didn't register until the windows started rattling, and then my wife came down screaming, saying, "What's going on? What's going on?" And then I realized an earthquake.
It's
What
weird
can
how
you
you,
do, honestly.
Yeah, there's nothing.
can't-
It's like paper. The
Yeah,
walls are
yeah.
like paper.
Yeah.
yeah, like it's the most unstable. I've been in an actual earthquake in Pakistan, and that earthquake,
It was a real earthquake.
Yeah, like a full on, like
The buildings
like a
come
big-
down and stuff.
no, but I remember the dust, like the roof was like cracking, and I remember the dust coming on my face from the
Oh, wow.
thing. So so we went to my grandfather's house, rahmatullah. So then we went outside, and it was still kept on going for a long time. You can't go anywhere. You can't climb a tree. It's not like a flood.
Where are you gonna run?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like the whole world is just like, it's very it shakes you to the core, really. I'll tell you, when the Pakistan had that really big one, I think like 80,000 people died. It's like more than a decade ago. And one of our relatives, he was telling me the story is like related to marriage. He said that it was during Ramadan, and the Hafiz, like we had thousands of aftershocks. And he said that when Taraweeh was being done, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim Maliki Yawmiddin, when the aftershock started, Maliki Yawmiddin Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in ihdinas siratal mustaqim. And he said that one time the aftershock was so big, the guy just bolted, left Tarawih, the imam. The kid, the Hafiz, he jumped out the window. Yeah, they were making him pray because we
Yeah.
grabbed him, we caught him just in time and brought him back and forced him, you know.
Oh, poor guy, man.
Yeah, they because made him complete the khatam.
There was a lot of ikhlas in that one.
My uncle was he was the madrasa, the kids were memorizing like 200 kids or whatever in the village, and so when it started shaking, like the teacher said, no one's allowed to go outside. If we die shaheed, you know.
Oof.
And then the my uncle went there, grabbed the microphone of the mosque, started screaming at him, you know, like, you know, telling him off, and everybody out. And as soon as everybody went out, the last person went out, the madrasa collapsed. Yeah. So, but you know, people just want to die, and you know, and become shaheed.
We
you know.
die.
By force.
Nah, bro. That guy was doing it hard at home. He's like, I'm not going home tonight.
Taking everybody else with him, Shaheed, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. He's not going by himself.
If I'm going, you're all going.
Yeah. So anyway, like it was a small, like, you know, momentary, but it just is a
Anyway, going
reminder.
back to harp. So it's harp, is it?
No, it's not. This is according to the Christians, Dan Andrews, you're on notice.
It's the
Yeah.
We said that. Watch the video.
That video. What is it? It's the father putting Dan Andrews on notice.
Yeah.
He's telling him he's not happy.
Yeah.
He's not happy.
Because of lockdown, they're so upset. They're connecting everything to they're sick of that.
I wish we could. Can we share that?
I haven't got it ready, so yeah, you can find it
okay.
online. That was literally in the first. There was like
I wish
3 videos.
I wish I could interview those two.
There was a video of that kid, you know, that young guy. Because am I in an earthquake? You know, it's like a 10-15 second video. I think we're in an earthquake. Like that's the first video to come out, like in the first. Because I was trying to check what was in the last hour. It was him, and then those Christians were on the, like they were ready to go with their message for Dan Andrews, and they're like within 20 minutes.
The father's putting Dan Andrews on notice.
Yeah, astaghfirullah. But anyway.
I feel sorry
But
for Dan. Man.
the reason why I mentioned anti-vaxxers or people conspiracy theorists, it's really a first world. Like we actually don't have any
Luxury.
real issues.
It's a first world luxury.
So we can
That's what
make
it
problems out of like, oh, vaccination is a problem. But the reality, we don't have the problems. Like if you tell someone in a poor country that you're refusing a vaccine because and you've been offered for free and you refuse.
Just the idea,
Yeah.
just the idea of just refusing. That doesn't matter the excuse. They'll be shocked.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
refusing
like-
medicine.
And it's for
the-
free. And you don't have
Yeah.
to line up for hours and days.
Yeah. Yeah, they're probably looking at us with you know, with raised eyebrows sort of thing, you know. So but anyway, they the roadmap
But
in place.
look, the anti-vaxxer, the roadmap might be in place, but the cases have gone crazy in the north.
Yeah, I've got
it's out of
family, relatives in
control.
hospital. Yeah, we have friends and family.
Yeah,
all
very
of us,
close friends
yeah.
that are in hospital. Like it's gotten out of control, and
Yeah.
people got to wake up, man.
Yeah, and they even with the roadmap that they put in place for the next few months, they've the hospitals are saying we're already overwhelmed, and we're not gonna be able to, like, if you're gonna open it like this, we're gonna cop it, and that's the main reason for, you know, like if you remember right at the beginning, they wanted to flatten the curve, you know,
Yeah,
basically, all right, it's gonna go through the population, but we don't want to like reach breaking point.
it's overwhelmed the hospital system.
Yeah, and there's a lot of, unfortunately, in the north, because a lot of Muslims are in the north, overly represented, unfortunately, in the hospitals.
It is. Look,
Yeah.
a friend of mine.
There was a
that
post by
there-
one doctor said there was 40 plus Arabic speakers from the north. Most likely they're Muslims.
Yeah, and
right?
a lot of names from someone that I've heard that works in a hospital. So many Mohammeds are coming in.
Yeah, Muslims. Yeah, obviously. so.
Overrepresented. Yeah, a friend of mine that was
Yeah.
there, like that, they had to go in because he got it. He actually said that anyone that doesn't, anyone that thinks this is fake or doesn't want to get the vaccine needs to come and spend a day here. To
Yeah,
understand just how bad it is.
it's not the flu. Yeah. Anyway, Allah make it easy. You know, we promise not to talk about it, but Allah give shifa to all those people in hospital.
No, we're not talking about COVID, but we do need to reiterate over and over again. I think that guys, take this seriously.
Yeah, exactly. And if you have the opportunity to take the vaccine,
I don't know how
then
else to say it.
yeah, let's not talk about that. Let's talk about the CFMU protest. Something else different.
Do you mean the protest or the soccer hooligans party?
It's a, it's
Yeah.
It was
almost
like
a
an
riot.
end of a soccer match. Yeah.
Mm.
But the thing is, I don't think a lot of those guys were from the CFMU. They were just what's it called, opportunists that just jumped on the bandwagon.
Oh, they say
Yeah,
that,
they
but
would have definitely been opportunist. But
Look,
but I think the
the-
majority of them were though.
yeah, they were. Yeah,
Yeah.
the high vis vests tell you who they were.
Yeah, but I can go buy a high vis vest myself.
No, I
And
think
the-
you're going conspiracy theories a little bit. I think most of them were they are from the CFMU, but they felt betrayed by the leadership. But there's grievances, but
They
there's
got
a lockdown.
sector-
Yeah, yes. So, but the building industry, the building unit, the CFMU, it's a questionable. There are certain aspects of it.
He's choosing his words
union-
very carefully in case he needs to buy a house.
There are
build a
union
house.
politics that play.
Yes. Well,
Did you
bro,
see the video from inside the office?
No, they've got John Cena.
When
That's
when
what you need to
the
say.
inside were raging, they were pushing, but the inside, the language from the inside, they seem very similar. It just
Really?
yeah, it was very interesting to watch. They were like provoking them from inside as well, like swearing at them, and
Yeah.
so,
I wonder.
Yeah, it
I
was
wonder
full on.
what this is going to mean for the next election. Liberals are loving it right now.
Yeah.
I
Because
won't make-
Labor was such a strong. Victoria was
look,
such a strong.
I don't think so. I don't because it's not. That's only one union. There's hundreds of unions. So you
Yeah.
got the idea. The
nurses,
Labour-
the doctors, yeah.
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 This is one union. Although the building industry is massive, but it's only
Yeah.
one. It's only one union. It's not a representative of the whole union, and that's what Dan Andrews said as a Labor premier. He said that that all the other professions, they seem to be taking it on the chin. Like the lockdowns and restrictions and being not able to work in a normal way, like the hospitality industry and all that. So, like, I think they're looking at an overall thing. Like they're not beholden to the buildings, the construction workers.
Which is good. Which
As-
is the way it should be. Like there's a bit. That's
Yeah.
a lot big change that's happened within the Labor Party for that reason.
Yeah.
With that.
But that's because the unions, there's more unions, there's for different obviously professions and so forth. But anyway, that there was another protest at the Shrine, a small one, I think, Shrine of Remembrance.
There was another one at
What
the
was
Shrine
that
of
for?
Remembrance.
What was that for?
Same thing.
They're all the
What?
same.
They're all the
No,
same.
no,
It's just
is that a
they wanted a
lockdown one?
whole week. Yeah, it was
just
for a
get-
whole week. They had a whole
They,
week.
you know,
of
you know,
protest,
you,
man,
you know what
every
they're
day.
chanting? They're chanting every day, meaning they're going to keep doing this every day. Well, I
But
mean,
they're going to
I
get
don't think they can,
a
but that's their chant, like every day.
And then today
Okay.
there was one in Northcote, 60 people. Apparently 100 police turned up and just dispersed.
yeah.
60 taking on 100 cops in riot gear. How you gonna do with that?
Yeah.
You got no, man. I just sit down and get my tasbih. I go because I'm just doing dhikr. Leave me alone, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's look, it is what it is. I think let's hope they don't deploy the HARP again for another earthquake.
Oh no. Let's say that. Let's say that.
That was a joke for anyone that's listening, but it's just dua, man. What else do you do? What else
Yeah.
can you do? Speaking of deploying weapons, France is a little bit upset right now. What do you think?
Yes.
I
I think
think it's a bit. I don't know. I do feel for France because, like,
I don't.
I mean, obviously, because I'm not a big fan of France, but I'm saying, like, I can see their point of view. I can see why
The
they would be
betrayal.
mad
The
or
betrayal.
upset. Yeah, the
Yeah.
betrayal. Because it is a betrayal. But
Yeah, but
man,
that submarine program was
yeah,
bro. That program
And-
was plagued with problems.
and not just
Listen,
that.
not the French one. The Collins
French one.
class. No.
Now,
it
even
was
the
this-
French one, is
it started
behind
off with
and
the
2 billion
No,
over
no.
budget.
yeah, but the Australians like this. There's no baraka in Australians submarine programs. Their previous one, they try to make their own one. That was a stuff up.
The Collins
Now
class.
now they're the French one, and then they just scrapped that. And these things are very complex pieces of machinery.
Yes. That's
and
correct.
so now they were expecting to receive the first submarines in 30 in 10 years. Now they have to wait another 20 years before they receive the first one. Think about that. They're going to get less
Yeah.
submarines with the less tested technology. There's no actual specific details of these submarines. Nobody knows,
The-
like, actually.
What
Yeah.
the nuclear powered
Just
ones?
nuclear powered. That's it.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe they're
So
just gonna buy
so for the
American
people who
stuff.
don't know, what's happening now is Australia's. So they just finished one war, which they lost. I mean, Australia has been part of the American coalition
Well,
for
if you
in every
watch, yeah,
in every war, lost
everything.
war for the last 50 years, right? So they keep losing in Iraq and Vietnam, and they just keep stuffing up. But they have to keep going. This war machine, the what is it? The industrial weapons complex. They have to keep that whole thing running. They lost it like within 1 week or 1 month. They're so, all right, let's move on to the next thing. And the big one, of course, is China. And now they're trying to. So they made this. What is it called? AUKUS. 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 AUKUS.
Yeah,
AUKUS.
class.
AUKUS. Yeah. Australia, UK, US basically made a treaty or like an alliance now, and it's basically to check China.
China.
Yeah. But the problem is
But the thing is, look, when you look at that, if you have a look at that 60 Minutes interview, there's a really good one with Liz Hayes there. When they start discussing it at the start about what's happening, can you guys hear feedback?
No, we can't.
Yeah.
Sometimes you hear it.
I can
Right.
hear it now. but
Yeah,
it's
just
gone.
ignore it. It's from your headphones. It's
Okay.
coming from your headphones.
Right.
Your headphones are close to the mic. Just ignore it.
Okay, so when when you watch that at the start of this interview and they talk about China, is this real? Is this not real? And then as they get towards the end of this interview, you can see how serious those people are that are pro war with China or pro preparing for war with China, and that actually freaked her out. And when you're listening,
Yeah.
you can hear the guy. They're talking about nuclear weapons as an option, just to show how tough we are. Now, it's these people that are making the decisions which submarines to get, which not to get. Now, that's a bit scary. Sure, we're not
Why-
carrying nuclear power. Well, we're not. We may not be carrying nuclear power weapons on it, but mate, are they building these submarines in a rush just to make some cash as well off the Australian taxpayer, and then just to flex some muscle with China? When one of the good points they made was that, and I'm no fan of China. The zulm that they're doing is just, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala just destroy them, right? But if you have a look at what they're doing, they're actually they're not moving anywhere else but around their borders.
Yeah, that's true.
and
So,
that's-
so we're
and that's-
saying you're not allowed to do that.
Well, not really.
Yeah.
The way China works is very different. China is putting all these countries into debt with really easy loans, but then
But that's
so
not
they-
just that's not just China.
No, no.
That's,
no, but it's very predatory
That's
of
the whole
China.
world.
Yeah, no. But the way the Chinese are doing it, their way of colonizing, is to create business interests and lock you into debts and so forth, which the West has done through IMF and all that. We'll talk about that another time. But they a large amount of interest from IMF goes back into Europe. But the Chinese, they purposely, intentionally do it. Then what they do is they put you in a weaker position for negotiations. So you have to give ports, you have to give for their ships. So they do it in a sort of in a more refined way, but it is also like they're taking ownership of countries.
So financial
finance-
colonialism, basically what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. And at the end,
Yeah.
it benefits China. And China's like on this war footing, the way they've built like constantly, like the last 30, 40 years, to reassert itself as a world power. And it's probably not and Muslims sort of like countries like Pakistan and others, they're falling to them, like they're getting affected by them. They're selling to them. They can't even criticize. Like in Pakistan, the prime minister will say that the Uyghur problem is not I don't know enough about it. But you know about
Really?
Afghanistan, which you have less business interest in Afghanistan, but seem to be commenting for everything about Afghanistan every second day. Have something to say, some philosophical point to make. But with China, you can't say one word. Why? Because they're building the roads, they're building the deep sea port, they're building infrastructure in the country.
Yeah, but,
So
but
you
all
can't-
that building
you
is done
can't-
with Chinese
you can't
workers.
you can't buy. Yeah, I've seen it with my own eyes. When I went to my village, there was a new motorway, and I saw just Chinese workers there and a Pakistani police security there. So you can't bite the hand that feeds
That
you.
feeds
This is life. This is the world. Most people will not. It's just generally how the world works, and unfortunately,
That was the
that's
loudest
right on
ear
the
scratch.
mic. Yeah,
Oh, sorry.
the mic is right
No,
there. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Thanks for that.
that was a loud ear scratch.
Turn the mic off, man. Next time. But anyway,
We're
so-
both just
so-
like,
but see, China, like now you understand why they're doing to the Uyghurs what they're doing. It's not right. It is zulm, but you see how they're covering all their bases because they know they're going to have a showdown. Because they're going to go for Taiwan at some point. They're going to go for Taiwan.
do you think they will go for Taiwan though?
They will go for
100%.
Taiwan. Yeah, there's only two prizes for them, other than economic prizes around the world and securing natural resources. There's only the two: South China Sea, like extend their border to what they think historically is theirs, and grabbing Taiwan. Once they've got that, they sort of, to a certain degree, they've secured what they want in the world. Like they sort of like in the negative. They see themselves negative, and the way to they have to come out of the red in their mind. Hence, Muslims and the way they're treating the Muslims and all that is collateral damage for them. It's actually, the Muslims are not that much of a value to them.
It's not about Islam, but it's more about making sure that the borders are secure.
Yeah, they don't have anybody from the back that have autonomous, because it's an autonomous region, and they the idea that it's possible because they had it's East Turkestan, right? It's actually not even Chinese territory. So they've taken another country and they've incorporated into China. Historically, if you look at the back, East Turkestan is a separate entity, like Kyrgyzstan and Tajikistan and so forth. So they've claimed somebody else's land, incorporated China. Now that it's part of China, it has to toe the line exactly with the state policy. Oh, if you're going to engineer, na'uzubillah, Islam out of you, and they will do that. So there's excesses, obviously. But their bigger picture is not about Muslims. The bigger picture is to make sure claim what's theirs. Hence Tibet, hence a little section Ladakh from India. Hence, like they'll take Macau, Hong Kong, the historical China, Greater China, they will reclaim. You know, and that's why Taiwan can never claim in that 60 minutes. The day they announce independence, they'll be invaded. You know, they cannot unilaterally, they cannot declare independence.
So the thing is,
you think that's what they're waiting for as a trigger? Them declaring.
I think also, I don't
Well,
know if they're waiting for that as a trigger. I think they're just not ready to do it yet. Like for me, I think just in terms of militarily and the bases they're building, those islands they're building, making sure like getting all the pawns in the right place before checkmate.
From what I know, America is a naval power, and China is like a land power. They've got a massive army.
Oh, they've got a massive navy as well.
Now they've got a bigger navy than US.
Yeah,
they've got the biggest navy in the world now.
Oh, okay. So it's the biggest in the world. Okay, so but
they've got
historically, it's always been America that's the naval power. So that's why.
Well, not
I mean,
UK sent it, but the thing is that it's in their border, right? They've got missiles on the beach, right? So you don't have to don't have to go very far because it's on their home turf. They've got the home ground advantage. They've got all the resources, supply lines, everything.
The supply routes, everything is there.
America doesn't. The only thing that advantage has America more than China is a nuclear option. And America...
No, but China's got the nuclear
China
option
has nuclear weapons as well.
Yeah, but the missile technology that America has, the ICBM, whatever, the intercontinental...
If you're talking about
China's nowhere near US.
I disagree. I reckon China's even one step further.
No, it's not true.
The US.
No.
Because they've got what are those? What are they called? Ballistic. Basically, there's missiles that go like Mach 29 or Mach 20. Where
hypersonic missiles.
Yeah. So China and Russia have them at the moment, but the US doesn't.
Yeah, but they're not like they're not. They form a very. They're still experimental, and they're not in a large.
Yeah, they're experimental. Yeah, that's true.
And America has large intercontinental missiles. They can shoot from America into China. China can't do that. Plus the technology, without a doubt, like even the F-30, what is it, F-35, the bomber, the plane,
You playing? Yeah, 35.
Yeah. So Chinese has like a Chinese version of it. It's like the Siphone,
Yeah.
the Psy
They just ripped it off,
F-35.
yeah.
They've got a Chinese version,
It looks so similar. It's not funny. Yeah.
yeah, but
They've just copied it.
but the touch screen is not as sensitive as the iPhone. So it's got little quirks. It's a copy, right? So of course they got some amazing things. I mean, they've designed an amazing COVID-19 virus, like that's like they beat everybody in that one. Stuff, but I'm joking, all right, about that. Allah knows best if it was from a lab or not. But
I reckon it was.
It was, yeah, you can think, but
let's not go there. Let's not go there.
Yeah, let's leave COVID and lockdown.
I couldn't help it.
So
We've got enough issues with HARP.
UK, the British are sending warships for the next 5 years to the region. Their warships and aircraft carriers are being sent to patrol. So you can see this is going to be, the escalation is happening. It's inevitable. Let's say in Indonesia, Malaysia basically said, like, what are you guys doing? After the Australia announced.
Yeah, they're stuck in the middle.
Yeah, it goes like, we're right
What the
smack
hell's
bang in the middle.
going
Why are
on?
we getting caught in this? And surprisingly, if you look at it, like, people don't pay much attention, but Indonesia is a rising power, 300 million, 270 million population. It's not a small country. Its GDP and so forth is bigger per capita than, like, for example, India and Pakistan. Like, it's quite a wealthy country. It's becoming a wealthy country. Factories are getting built there. It's a very productive.
I wonder what it's
But
military
not
like.
militarily though.
They've got a big military.
They've got a massive military, but they don't have the weapons or the
yeah, because they've invested. They haven't wasted their time investing in, like, they've actually built their country up quite significantly.
Yeah, but they're caught in the middle. It just takes one bomb to drop in the wrong place for that all that.
Well, Indonesia is a bit hard to. There's no, like, it's got big cities, but it's like 10,000 islands, so you can always distribute and But anyway, the point is that Indonesia was benefiting from Australia, the West, and also from China as well, because it's in the middle. It's good for trade for them. If there's a war, they're gonna cop it, like they're gonna get stuffed both ways.
All sides.
So when China does invade Australia, let's maybe think about that exercise.
Yeah, get ready and get your kids ready.
Yeah, make them learn Chinese. Just
what
in
make
case.
them learn Chinese, mate?
Which one? Mandarin, Cantonese?
Every single one. No, but if China invaded Australia, would you go fight?
What's that?
Would you go fight? If China invaded Australia, would you go fight?
100%. 100%.
Bro,
to defend
100%.
For what reason you fight?
Defend Australia against China.
Are you serious?
Bro.
For what reason would you fight? You got to go learn Mandarin, mate. this guy's already.
I know a couple of things.
That's not going to be
China.
enough.
China number one.
You know what they're going to say? They're going to look at you and they're going to go, Xinjiang.
Do you know about China number one?
Send him off to. Nah.
That's when you're playing video games, right? You hear Lara knows this, huh? When you're playing those online games, and when the Chinese guys are playing, because they don't speak any English, they just shout out one thing: China number one.
Yeah, I don't play.
So anyway, that's so China number one. That's all I need to.
Yeah, this guy's already crossed to the other side. What's going on here?
He's already practicing.
He's talking about learning Mandarin.
Hey, I gotta wage. I gotta bet on him, but I don't want to. Look, I've learned English.
Boys, if that happens, we need to get our kids. We need to get everyone and just go hard.
Yeah, it's okay, like the guy. My dad was in a shopping. Rahimullah, he's in a shopping center in Doncaster, Westfield, like 30 years ago. Do you remember the Garuda airline commercials? Garuda is Indonesian airline. So Selamat datang, like, means welcome, So there's a guy, he's in a shopping center in Westfield in Doncaster, and the guy comes up and Selamat datang. But anyway, welcome.
To your dad?
Yeah, to my dad. Like 35 years. But anyway, so how do you say welcome in Chinese when they come in Port Melbourne? So I'll be there. How do you say welcome in China? Let me check. Let me just check. So
Bro,
all our viewers can learn.
you know what they're gonna do? They're gonna send you one of those concentration camps in Xinjiang. He looks like one of them. Get him out of here.
Huh?
Astaghfirullah, we shouldn't joke about that.
What's that?
No, I'm just saying, like, nah, come on, man. If they, there's no way.
Imagine it does actually turn out to be a reality. You know, where
Yeah, but there's that show,
You hear
dude,
it.
that TV show.
which
Hua Ying. That means Hua Ying.
I was not ready for that.
Hua Ying. They means welcome.
You know, they'll be like, this guy's useless. He's got gout in his foot. He can't even walk. Bang.
Yeah.
What are we going to do with him?
Yeah. Hua Ying. Hua
Right.
Ying. Just remember.
You won't even be able to walk down the Port Melbourne Pier, let alone go there to
I
say
don't-
Hua Ying.
I think Australians will not tolerate an invasion. They'll fight
No
to the death.
way.
Yeah, no
Every
way.
single Aussie. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
If
Like, the
if me
thing
and
is,
Wazir
if
are
they-
talking about it, could you imagine the average Aussie, like, you know, how
Right.
how gun
Bro,
ho they would be?
100%.
Their full xenophobicness will come out. You know.
Right. All it is get a few lebos from Brody and say, this is what we're going to do. Get a few boys from the north, from the area, and go, let's go.
Allah protect. But it's
I mean,
it's going to be and the Chinese
and
the Chinese are gearing their whole population. The next
Yeah, they
generation,
are.
the next,
it's
the next,
completely
next
changing.
generation.
next generation.
Absolute
When I say
nationalism.
next generation, next 10 years.
Yeah,
So K-pop is banned.
that's not a bad thing.
Boy band
Again,
groups are banned.
that's not a bad thing.
Effeminate men are banned. I mean, there's a what is it like?
You're going to be in trouble there, Malana.
Get out of here. And gaming is limited to 1 hour a day,
And no
online
foreign
gaming?
games.
and no foreign games. And they're already
How do you, how do you track that?
indoctr-
How do you track someone's been playing?
Oh,
for an hour?
you know what they call it? The Great Wall of the Great Firewall of China.
Oof.
The Chinese,
Yeah.
like, they have the system, the internet they've created.
Yeah,
It's-
it's another level.
It's you know what they found out? I think it's Lithuania. You know the new Huawei phones, and I think it was another brand as well. Words that you like, it detects words like if you search like any anti-Chinese thing,
Mm.
it actually
way.
like triggers like a filter thing in it. This is so they said basically. I think Lithuania, if I'm correct, Latvia, one of those Eastern European countries, they've from the Prime Minister, I think they've encouraged or they've discouraged to stop buying Chinese phones. Like, it's officially from the government now, like,
Wow.
coming. It's not a
Wow.
law yet, but they're discouraging. Said they're actually monitoring you, and they are like actively like. So those, you know, that Huawei ban or whatever.
Yeah,
It
subhanallah.
was actually the right thing to do. Now they're actually finding out at a technical level that actually they're doing that. So I'm not
Mm.
sure this is how accurate, because I'm not privy to that, but this is in the news now. But
Wait, I got a Chinese phone. Let me see. But isn't Apple made in China anyway?
Well,
yeah,
it
but
is,
it's under
it's designed
in
and whatnot.
California.
Yeah, whatever that means.
And the process overseen by Americans. Like, they're basically assembling it, but the
Hmm.
specifications are coming from the United States.
A
Like, from
lot of the
Apple.
microchips on like Apple products are actually Samsung as well. So there you
So
go.
Korea.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I've got a Samsung. You know, I've gone for Samsung. You know, for the you know.
He's gonna go buy a Redmi phone tomorrow or an Oppo phone tomorrow and practice his Chinese. What was that word you said again?
Yeah.
Let me just play it on my
Here we go.
Hua Ying. I'm playing it on Google. It's Hua Ying. Welcome.
Astaghfirullah. I'll be behind you, mate. Oh.
Yeah.
But
Start,
this is, but the thing is, if
I've
something
got
like
chopsticks. I've got chopsticks.
this, so racist.
do you know how to use
I've
them
got
though?
chopsticks.
That's
Huh?
the key. Do you know
I
how
know how
to
to
use
use
them?
them. You know, you just
Okay.
twirl it in it. You know, it gets. You know, we'll figure it out.
What, you've even started eating noodles. What's wrong with this guy, man?
The Chinese invaders will look at us and look at these savages. You know, they can't eat properly. You know, they don't know how to use chopsticks. Anyway.
If I didn't know you any better, I'd be like, this guy's gone next level pro China. He's throwing us under the
Samsung. Get out of here.
He's hoping one of the Chinese like
China number one. Huh? What's that?
He's hoping Xi Jinping sees this podcast and then he mandates that every Chinese must watch it now. See?
Yeah, we'll be on Weibo.
China
Weibo
boy.
and what's the other? What's a WeChat and Weibo?
Let's
Let's get on that. Let's get on that and just do Chinese propaganda.
Is there a Chinese YouTube?
China number one. Please subscribe. That was so
Does it-
racist.
Yeah.
That was wrong. Astaghfirullah, Lada.
Me?
What are you saying, Lado?
I can't
He's
remember.
lost it.
I'm just, I just
He's now he's rethinking his strategy of fighting, whether he should fight or not. Now he's convinced we're gonna get invaded. Anyway.
No, man, if we do, we got to.
Huh?
We have to. We have no choice. We have to. If Australia
Not really. Not really.
If Australia is being attacked, we live in Australia. This is our homeland. If we defend it and we die, are we shaheed?
Yeah, if you defend your life and property, I guess. Yeah, you can't fight for your country, but you can fight for your life and property.
Okay, so if I went to Darwin and fought, because that's where they're coming in from, because they might.
What's in
reach my life and
Darwin?
property
Is
or-
there anything in Darwin?
No,
No,
yeah,
the Chinese.
crocodiles.
The Chinese already bought a port there, didn't they?
Yeah, the port of Darwin.
Yeah, so they're already here.
Why, he's like, I was too late to go and say, joking.
Look, I just want to put this message out there that
Are you-
I believe the virus was from a bat. I don't believe that it was from a lab. I just want to make that clear that I'm not putting any aspersions or throwing any aspersions on the the great Chinese people.
that change of language, that slight change of language.
I swear, anybody that's listening, watching this, we did not prepare any of this. We are practicing how to become propagandists for a communist secular state, and we
Just so we
just
can have a successful podcast.
like, subscribe.
Press the bell icon. Then the chopsticks. Hide and seek. We hate
I don't think we should
Chinese biscuit.
look. Winter is coming, and and.
Don't bend the knee.
And I think that's what's scary. I think war has been, especially in Australian mind after Vietnam,
Yeah.
it's not in our lifetime. It's some distant thing. Like, yeah, Afghanistan is there, but as an
We're
idea
very
of it,
removed from it. Yes.
we're very removed from war and the realities of war. Alhamdulillah. But yeah, it's if it comes.
Winter is coming.
Yeah, but like what's going to get affected? All the supply lines. All the supply lines are going to affect everything's going to, because where we are located in the world. Can you imagine how life will become very hard here?
Life will, and I think it would be
No, not even if we invaded. Not even if we invaded, right? The idea that China will extend itself this far over Malaysia, Indonesia, and other countries and attack is highly unlikely, right? It's very highly unlikely. That we don't really much matter. We're going to be the first target.
Bro,
right?
although Japan went to Solomon's though, don't forget that. And Papua New
Yeah.
Yeah, but not really. They're going to they know what's theirs. They got like the only argument that Japan has with China is some islands, like a small coral reef. Other than that, they don't have really much dispute. But if what's
No,
going to
what
be
I'm saying
mainly
is Japan
we're going to
reached
get
that
crippled. We're going to get crippled economically because our biggest trading partner is Asia, is Japan and China.
And Xi Jinping announced, what was it, yesterday, the day before, at the UN, they're going to stop building coal-fired stations, power stations around the world.
Yeah, that's like directly to Australia.
That's our bread and butter.
Yeah,
I gotta
so we're
move my
copying
camera.
that. Yeah, so for the wine, like they banned Australian wine, so they're gonna we're gonna copy.
Are you
they're gonna,
going to take up the slack?
what's that?
You're going to take up the slack
For
for
what?
those wines that haven't been sold? Molana sitting in Melton.
Yeah, well, turning it into vinegar.
I'm taking one for the country.
Astaghfirullah.
That's why I can't walk.
Look. Realistically, if you look at where if it keeps escalating like this, we're too far from Europe and America geographically. First thing, Asians don't like us much. It's true. It's true that as a country, I'm talking about, because we're a white country, they don't like us much. It's true. Like politically, we're like an oddity, right, in the region.
I give up. Oh, I can't say.
No, but we are an oddity. We are an oddity in the region, right? In Australia and New Zealand. New Zealand is more friendly with China than us.
That's true.
New Zealand's smart.
New Zealand's like hedged its bets and said, whatever they said, they've already said, Hua Ying. They've already said Hua Ying. So it's already a done. They're not gonna take any major.
He's on a roll tonight, isn't he, lad?
It's killing me, bro.
You're not usually funny, but tonight you're actually funny.
Australia, because it's got to play the big man in the region, but the problem is the fact that Malaysia, Indonesia have said like we don't like what's this arms race that you're starting in our region means that there's a pushback, like they're playing the balancing trick. They want to deal with the whole world, make business with the whole world, right? China and everybody else. They don't want to be in the orbit of one power, but geographically they have to respect China because of where they're located. They're not going to disrespect a superpower on their borders, roughly, So therefore, like the idea of an arms race or something like that for them it's a massive loss. But I really mean that, like Asia in general, like think about this. You got a European style country built right next door to you. Colonized, a colony of Britain is here. Right? So a lot of the colonies have been undone. Like all those, Macau and Hong Kong, and they've been given back, because after their list. But there is a bitter history, which that whole region knows about. Battles were fought against white men, Europeans like the Dutch or British or whatever, to get rid of them. So, like even Singapore, I remember the Singaporean president many years ago, he said, "We'll accept you as Asia when more than half of the population is not white." That's the Singaporean president, if I remember correctly. And I think Dr. Mahathir from Malaysia, who's currently, I think, the prime minister still.
Lee Kuan Yew.
Again. Yeah, but the current Malaysian one, Dr.
Mahathir's a machine, bro. That guy is like...
He's 90, but he's what did he say? He said, this is during the whole, in the 90s, he said, don't be Americans' deputy in Asia. To tell us what to do, what we shouldn't do. Yeah. So there's a general like I think Australia might overestimate its Asianness, and
I think Indonesia, especially Indonesia and Malaysia, they've really come into their own in the last 10, 15 years.
Yeah, and they've gone through that whole collapse, almost
that confidence. Yeah, and that confidence in who they are and being proud of who they are. Not that I'm saying they weren't proud before, but it's just that different level of confidence now.
That's so although they're like friends with Australia, like to a certain degree, but they more Asian than Australia. Australia's like a European,
and they're getting more assertive, a lot more assertive as time goes on.
Yeah, exactly. Even like it's so weird. It's so weird. We call it the global north and the global south, right? But we're at the bottom of the south. We're an oddity. Australia and New Zealand is an oddity. We say the global north, which is the rich countries. We call it the west, but we're in the southeast of Asia.
Yeah.
So it's like we're in the wrong place.
It's more. I think it's just now become more of a figure of speech.
Yeah, I know, but our geography is going to have a huge impact. Yeah, it's going to have a huge. When things hit the fan, then our supply routes, like we don't have things coming in from Europe and America and so forth. We have everything coming from Asia, pretty much. All our factories are in Asia and so forth. How are we going to get cheap Amazon stuff? You know, how are we gonna? How are we gonna? You know, we're gonna suffer.
Bro, according to you, you're getting everything off Alibaba, so I don't know where you're coming from.
Yeah,
Amazon,
Ali,
as soon as they land-
AliExpress. That's
As
their
soon as
retail.
Alibaba was-
as soon as they
Yeah,
land in Port Melbourne, it'll be
Singles
like,
Day, man.
Mm.
Singles Day.
What?
But I think it's called Singles Day, isn't it? Which is
Singles Day,
that's like what's that big shopping day that
Black Friday.
Boxing Day.
Black Friday. So Black Friday is more like a thing, but the Chinese equivalent of that is called Bachelor's Day or Singles Day. It's December. Just to let so you know, it's. I think we should start learning these holidays. November the 11th, according to Wikipedia, is a Chinese unofficial holiday and shopping season that celebrates people who are not in relationships. The date, 11th of November, 11/11, was chosen because the numeral 1 resembles a bear stick, which is Chinese internet slang for an unmarried man who does not add any branches to the family tree. The 4 ones also have to refer to the
That's harsh.
and it's the holiday has become the largest physical retail online shopping day in the world. Alibaba shoppers exceed 213 billion yuan. That's the currency we should learn. At $30.7 billion in one day.
Wow.
$30 billion of shopping in one day. So
That's
what is it?
A billion
Single-
people can do that.
Singles Day. Singles Day. Just remember that.
Single day.
Let me just check how you say that in
Here we go.
in Chinese.
He's on a roll tonight. Here we go. Do you need a
If,
drop?
if our numbers go up, we know why.
It's all all we need to do is just get sound bites. Don't worry about the whole podcast, but just sound bites, sound bites. China #1 from this podcast, and just put it on
Stop.
Weibo.
Please subscribe. Anyway, do they have like a YouTube? Do they have a YouTube version of their platform?
I have
Oh,
no
that's
idea.
it.
Yeah, you're the one that sold yourself to the devil, mate.
I'm seriously like we have to. What are the
No.
options? What are the options?
Fight back, mate.
What are the options? Fight back, yeah,
Options? No, there's one option is just go with everybody. Just go with the flow. Whoever's in power,
No,
like
you
most
fight
of these
back.
countries. No, listen. That's one.
Nah,
That's
nah.
one view.
No
One
way.
used to
You've seen
fight.
what they've done in China. You've seen what they've done in Xinjiang province. What they're doing all over the world. Are you serious? Go with the flow. Better
Listen.
die shaheed. Better to
Listen.
have lived than
Well,
not lived at all.
is it really Shahid? But anyway, that's another story. That's
I'm
because
calling an alim that I know. I mean,
so
I'm calling a Mufti. Sorry.
like if you see like in Muslim countries, like all these wars happen, a large proportion of the population just go about their life and business and so forth, right? They're not participating in any
Yeah, I can't do
rebellion or
that.
anything. No, I'm just saying this is one option. It's just all right, whatever who comes goes, whatever,
Learn Chinese and go along with it.
I'm gonna still do whatever job I'm doing. I'm gonna be doing my life is gonna still be the same. This is one option.
Only
The oth-
only speaking Chinese.
Yeah.
No, we'll probably speak something like a Singaporean English or something like that, like a hybrid, like we'll have to celebrate Singles Day, we'll have to do things like that, like sort of like I doubt it will be conquered or invaded in that
Bro,
sense.
do you think the masjid will be allowed to stay open? The churches will be allowed to stay open?
I don't think we're going to get invaded. I think we're going to be crippled.
I don't think either.
Yeah, I don't
actually
think.
don't think either.
No, but like that's not our choice, right? So if the Chinese actually put pressure on us, and they put ships in the Malacca Strait or somewhere like that, they start.
You just wanted to say that.
Excuse my language. Or between the Timor Sea or something like that. They start, restrict shipping and delay shipping, but basically,
Yeah.
push us around, right? They're going to push us around. They've already done that. They already
Yeah,
started.
but they
pushing us
can't do
around.
that either because they're reliant on so much food coming from Australia for them anyway.
Oh,
Australia
they're
is one of the
they're
biggest
already
markets.
figuring out ways around it. They already figure it. If you
Yeah.
see the agriculture, they've almost agriculturally independent in China. So
Really?
yeah. You'll be
What, 'cause
surprised
of
at the
the
development.
plastic rice?
You're the Nigerian person. No, but they're on their way to becoming self-sufficient, and they've got too many other people they can get things from. Like they can create. They've got too many markets, too many allies. Let's say one option is to fight. One option is to capitulate and just go with the flow. One option is, I mean,
Wait for
because
him at the pier.
because like if you're gonna fight, where are you gonna fight from? Which mountains do you have to hide in?
It doesn't have to be
Warrigal.
Afghanistan. We got the bush.
No, I'm not
Warrigal.
saying. I'm just saying it's like
Warrigal.
flat. It's a flat
Yeah, Gippsland,
brown
Warrigal,
land.
man.
What are you
Let's
talking
go for a
about?
drive to
We've got
Warrigal,
heaps of
Gippsland.
mountains.
We'll be all right.
Apollo Bay. Apollo Bay.
We got the Ottawa Ranges. We've got plenty of mountains, man.
Yeah,
the Great
but
Ocean Road, you know.
yeah, so that's the thing. Like it's so big of a country that they're not going to invade it. What they're going to do is they're going to financially, economically cripple this country. Hence, your third option is you leave Australia, go somewhere else to a better, safer place, become refugees.
But I don't think there is a safer place. What would
In
be
New
a safer
Zealand?
New
place?
Zealand.
New Zealand,
Yeah.
New Zealand,
Yeah. New Zealand is cool though. New Zealand is actually cool.
or
Whatever happens in the world though, New Zealand is a place where you're like, yeah, this is one place, it's just always going to be chilled.
Yeah.
yeah, they want to change the name of New Zealand to like it's a weird Maori name. There's some
Oh,
Maori
good on
MPs they brought it up. Yeah, it probably won't pass like the flag.
No,
Most
it
likely won't pass. Yeah, but
There's too much
And
history
they-
behind it now.
yeah, it's too much
Also-
water under the bridge. It's like it's like trying to like the tribe claiming MCG to be theirs or something like years ago. So I heard like it's not that's gone. It's done and dusted. Yeah, like
it's not
acknowledge,
gonna happen.
put the signboard up, acknowledge the tribe of the area, but other than that, not going to get much more. And a sorry, and that's pretty much it as far as it goes. I don't think there's going to be any economic.
Kickbacks.
Yeah, but anyway, so those are your three options: leave Australia, fight, or
Go to New Zealand.
Or go to New Zealand.
or Huaying.
He says it so well now.
Yeah, I know. You know what? He didn't just Google that. He's been practicing this.
Just
That's what
before
I
the
said.
podcast, like,
He's he-
why?
he's secretly learning. He's secretly learning Mandarin. He's like, I just got to get ready for this. All of a sudden, if it happens, he's gonna press
So
a button.
Australia,
Here we go. He's gonna
We
press
will
a button.
no
Let me
lo-
finish. He's
No,
gonna
no.
press a button on his house, and it's
Yep.
gonna be like the Chinese architecture. His house is just gonna become like that.
Yeah.
I've got like I've got Chinese scroll here in Arabic. I think a Hui brother, Chinese brother, Muslim brother gave me this scroll here that I've got. I can't show it to you, but
And he
Um,
probably said to him, if they invade, use this for protection. And he probably says, kill me. I'm afraid.
so the way you say Australia in Chinese is Talia.
What?
Talia. Talia. It's funny, like they don't make the effort to even say it like in a totally like made it just Chinese, like they've removed like 4 letters out of it. So we are all Italians from now on. Anyway, no, astaghfirullah.
I don't know what
I
to
had
say
fun
right
with
now. You did.
All right, I think we wrap it up.
You
for now.
went
We
to
all-
many different places.
I know. I want to explore this idea that invasion's not going to happen, so don't worry about that. This is just we're just joking.
Do that.
We're
You
just
know
joking.
exactly
We're just
what
joking.
you're doing.
We're just joking. We're just joking. Number one. Number two.
Learn Mandarin.
Number two is that either migrate outside, or the third one, which is not going to probably happen, is fight. But I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think. I don't think they're going to extend themselves that far south to think. But
Inshallah.
Allah knows best. Allah knows best. Because
Yeah.
if the empire collapses, which is in collapse at the moment, the United States,
Mm.
and we are like the hang on of the empire, then we cannot stand any power. Like we cannot stand
Yeah.
against the US, and we cannot stand against China. We have to, like, we're going to get kickbacks from US for being a loyal partner in the region, who's also white, right? Because they don't have any other white partners in the region. We're the only ones. So we're on the front line regardless. Like the Koreans are there, Japanese are there, but those guys, they're not.
It's
like,
still us and them.
Yeah, it's still there. You know, they will not. They're gonna try and maintain peace and so forth. But we have to toe the line with the US regardless what happens, and therefore, we're going to be dragged into this whether we like it or not. And the average Australian is going to suffer, sadly, when the economic pressures come. We're already like at breaking point, I think, because of COVID and so forth. Once it's really, if this drives it, this will collapse the thing. The problem is what happened is like what they were mentioning about the internment camps during World War II for Japanese.
That's right.
Australians will turn on the Chinese. That's what they were saying in the documentary or that 60 Minutes report. Sadly, that the reality is mistrust will come anybody that looks Asian. You know, this is like a human instinct. Like people will like close ranks, and then they will, you know, they'll turn on the what they perceive. Even though he might be a loyal Australian, he might have been here for 2-3 generations. The reality is that they will. Unfortunately, Allah protect, but that's what will happen is that
inside protect us all, man.
the cohesion of this country, the multiculturalism, all these things are gonna probably fall to the side. Allahu alam. So it's gonna be it looks. I don't want to make it a bleak future, but
no, I don't think it's bleak. Look, at the end of the day, this is whatever's happening, but what Allah has written will happen.
Yeah,
exactly.
Do amal, make dua. Learn Mandarin according to Maulana Khalid.
And I think also, you know, this is something that has to be thought of as well, that the Chinese, despite what they've done to Muslims, the Mongolians did far worse to the Muslims than the Chinese have done. Right? In the last, what they've done to the Uyghur Muslims, the Mongolians did far worse. But eventually they themselves became Muslim.
SubhanAllah.
Because at the end of the day, the Chinese are still human beings, and they're still in the ummah of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And the idea that we write them off and the white man is somehow we're going to fight for the white man and or Australia or whatever. And that's like, why is it that they're better? You know? Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, we don't know who's going to actually be better for Islam, because maybe
better for Islam. Come on, man. We can practice in Australia. You can practice.
Yeah, but the you know what the Mongolians did to the Muslims. Read the history in Samarkand and Bukhara and through until Baghdad. When they sacked Baghdad, they made a pyramid of skulls of Muslim heads in Samarkand, and they butchered Muslims left and right. It was an absolute slaughter. So, but they themselves got hidayat in the end, became Muslims themselves. That's the irony of it all. You know, the Mongolians actually became, the Mongols that ruled Muslims, they became Muslim in large numbers. So
Man,
even though they...
Yeah, but we don't want these mountains of skulls before that happens. Like, do we want
that?
Yeah,
of course. What we want is, you said it yourself, only that will happen what Allah wants. And that's the thing, like we don't...
we don't know what that is.
We cannot just assume that China like as a Muslim we cannot dehumanize the Chinese as the Americans or the West. No, I'm saying that we have to be careful, because once the aggression and the thing starts, for us we'll have to make as Muslims dua for hidayah for everybody, including the Chinese, and we'll have to still be thinking about
self-defense is still a thing though. But like you said,
nobody's fighting for your rights and so forth. This is fine, but you'll have to look at. I put up this quote this week in through our madrasa channels, and I don't know if you saw.
Is madrasa still running?
No, we're on holidays this week.
Rahman still running on Zoom.
Rahman Baba, it's online. Yeah, Rahman Baba is a famous wali of Allah 300 years ago in the Peshawar. What today is in northwest Pakistan, and he said that look at an insan as insan, look at a human being as a human being, and look at a faqir as you look at yourself. So that first line, look at a human being as a human being, when you look at the Chinese or you look at the Americans or you look at Australians, look at them as human beings. Yeah, because the Red Scare, the whole anti-communist, the yellow invasion, the all that sort of, what's gonna happen. So that European racism is gonna tint this whole thing as well. So we as Muslims have to be careful not to get caught up in that. We have to be concerned for their hidayah as well.
And don't forget, we were the ones copying it for the last years, and now it's like it's slowly shifting towards.
And it's not a good thing. It's not like okay, they're shifting the Muslim from Arabs and Muslims and so forth. This is something like like the pressures of us. No, like we will go against zulm wherever it is, if it's against us or somebody else. If it's against black people, if it's against Asian people, like we'll have to, as a Muslim, we'll have to oppose.
Of course, you've got to defend and oppose people that are like the oppression and defending that. But my thing is, if someone's coming here for an attack,
what if we go and attack China in Taiwan?
Yeah, but that's not. I wouldn't have a part in that.
Yeah, but if we do a preemptive strike and then they come and attack us.
I'm talking about self-defense.
No. What if Australia attacks or US and the alliance attacks? In retaliation, China attacks. They attack. No. Yeah, we attack first with the US, then they attack. Then they come and attack and invade Australia.
I'd have to go
speak to in retaliation.
You got to speak to Mufti. Yeah,
100%. I'd have to go speak to. Look, in all of this, whether I fight or not, whether any of these things or not, I would need to speak to a Mufti or some ulama that I respect. Not that I don't respect.
Jazakallah khair.
I have to say
I know what you're talking.
I hate to say that. Right.
Senior ulama. Say it like that.
Just as I was saying, I was like, this is gold. Right? No, I'd have to go speak to senior ulama, right? And say, okay, what's my position? Do I fight or do I not fight? Okay, we're going to invade Taiwan or we're going to do a preemptive strike. Are we part of that or not?
Which one do you listen to though? Let's because in these kind of situations, that people are
you listen to someone that but there's right now there's certain ulama that I go to for my questions for what I need, right? And so I it's not like I ulama shop.
Yes.
So I ask probably 2-3 ulama that I will usually call for anything if one's not available, right? So I'd speak to them. According to this one, the one I call, I need to start learning Chinese.
I didn't say that. Joking, man.
I know. It was a good night. You were on a roll tonight, mate.
Yeah. So you'll call the Mufti, and then he'll say, "What's the if the Chinese come, they've offered terms to Dan Andrews. Surrender. You can still maintain your democracy and so forth, but." You remove the Union Jack out of the corner and put a hammer and a sickle, and
Russia?
That's Russia. Sorry, the star. You put a red star. You put a red star in the corner of your flag, and make the Southern Cross red.
You go with this.
I'm actually giving flag design ideas. I'll win that competition. The new Victorian flag. But anyway,
the new Chinese Victorian flag made by a Muslim.
The Odalia flag, Odalia flag. Anyway, so that's how you say it in Chinese. That's how you say it. Actually, Google it. Anyway, so
I can't take this conversation serious.
So now. Like the Chinese will come, you're allowed to pray, you have your mosques, nothing changes in your life.
How do you know? That's what they said in Hong Kong.
No, nothing changes in your government.
That's what they said in Hong Kong. You got to go.
Yeah, you're based in Hong Kong, but let's say the government comes in, nothing changes.
You just want me to learn Chinese,
huh? But let's say nothing changes. Then what? Are you still going to fight? Your deen is not affected. Your masjid is not affected.
I don't think it'd be that simplistic.
You just have to break your alliance with the US. That's all.
But I don't think it would be that simplistic.
No, I'm just scenario. All right, you don't think simplistic, but I'm just giving an idea. Then what? Off to Dandenong Mountains?
100%.
You know, Hills,
Packing up
Hillsville.
I'm gonna pack up the tent and I'm disappearing out bush. That's it.
Anyway, I think we should call it a night. Some food for thought.
I think we should have called it a night a long time ago.
Some food for thought. And get
So,
Babel. Get Babel.
all our Chinese listeners, please like, subscribe, press the bell icon, and make us famous on Weibo, according to Maulana Khan.
Astaghfirullah. Yeah.
Right,
Anyway,
bro.
all right.
Thank you for listening. Please like, subscribe, and press the bell icon. And remember, the majority of this podcast was in jest. Do not take anything. Like, I remember you said once in a podcast, don't take sound bites. There was one podcast that was very famous. You said during that podcast, do not take sound bites and listen to the whole thing. Guess what? Sound bites were taken.
All right. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.